Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into something a bit different today, something that's been buzzing around a lot lately, artificial intelligence. But, and here's the catch, we're not just chatting about AI in general, we're talking about its impact on something we all care about, our money.
Like we're constantly told AI is going to make life a breeze, right?
Yeah.
But easier how? At what cost? Does anyone ever stop to ask? Especially when it comes to our spending habits. That's where things get interesting.
Seriously. That convenience factor, it's dazzling, but it often makes us, well, overlook the potential downsides. And that's where this new research comes in. It's called the AI Impact C model. They're finally asking the tough questions like, could AI actually be making us, get this, worse at managing our money, even while it's busy, promising to make everything seamless and frictionless and all that?
It's a bit of a paradox, isn't it? The AI impact model is designed to untangle this whole messy relationship between AI and how we make decisions about our finances. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, we got to be on the same page about what we mean by AI. We're not just talking about any algorithm or a simple piece of software. We're talking about like sophisticated computer agents, those that learn from experience and make decisions, with a certain degree of autonomy.
Okay, so we're not talking about my spreadsheet autofilling a formula. This is AI that's actually making decisions. Like what? Give me an example.
Think personalized shopping experiences. You know those eerily accurate product recommendations you see online? Or even AI that can adjust prices on the fly based on what it knows about your spending habits.
Okay, that's getting a little too real for me. And that's where this whole financial decisions part comes into the AI impact model, right? But why do we even need a separate model just for money matters?
Because, let's face it, financial decisions, they're not just about logic and numbers. Emotions play a huge role. Think about it. Every time you spend money, you're weighing your present desires against your future needs. And what this model suggests is that AI, it's changing how we weigh those choices, often without us even realizing it.
It's like AI is changing the rules of the game without telling us. We're playing by the old rule book, but everything around us is shifting.
That's a great analogy. The AI impact model breaks down 4 major ways AI is changing the game: access, personalization, flexibility, and automation.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Break it down for me. If I'm, let's say, browsing online for a new pair of shoes, how do these 4 things actually show up?
Let's start with access. It might sound counterintuitive, but AI can both increase and restrict access to financial products and services. For example, it can make credit more readily available even for folks who don't have those traditional credit scores.
So that could be a good thing, right? Opening doors for people who might not have had those opportunities before?
Absolutely. It has the potential to be incredibly empowering. But, like with anything, there's always the flip side. What about those AI-powered algorithms that deny someone a loan based on biased data?
Okay, yeah, that's the kind of thing that keeps me up at night.
And, get this, the report even mentions Madison Square Garden using AI for targeted bans on certain individuals.
Whoa, hold on. Now that's some Black Mirror stuff right there. Are we really okay with AI having that much power over our lives and our wallets? That's a whole other deep dive waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about personalization? We already talked about those eerily accurate product recommendations online. What else is going on there?
Oh, those recommendations, those are just the tip of the iceberg. We're talking about AI-powered dynamic pricing. Basically, the price you see for something online, it might not be the same as what someone else sees.
Wait, seriously, I had no idea that was even a thing.
Oh, it's definitely a thing. And it's all thanks to AI. It can analyze your past purchases, your browsing history, even things like your social media activity to figure out, well, how much you might be willing to pay for something.
So they're like playing mind games with pricing to get us to spend more? That's kind of creepy if you ask me.
It's subtle, but it's happening all the time. And it makes it really hard to know if you're actually getting a fair deal. Speaking of which, this ties into the next factor. Flexibility.
Flexibility. Now, that sounds like a good thing on the surface, right? I mean, who doesn't love having options?
Right. But it's not as simple as it sounds. We're not just talking about having different shipping options or being able to pay with Apple Pay or whatever. It's about AI removing like any friction from the act of spending money.
Okay, now you've got my attention. Tell me more about this frictionless spending thing. How does that even work?
Think about things like biometric payments. Where you can buy something with just a tap of your phone or a scan of your face. It's so easy. Or those micropayments that are everywhere these days. You're spending tiny amounts so often, you barely even notice it, right? And then you've got entirely new currencies popping up in those virtual spaces like the metaverse. All of these make it easier than ever to spend money without even, like, registering that you're doing it.
Oh, tell me about it. I've definitely fallen for that myself. Like, it hits different handing over cash versus tapping my phone. With my phone, I barely even realize I just spent money.
See? That's exactly the point. And these systems, they're designed to do just that. Make spending as painless as possible, almost like it's a game.
And this brings us to the next piece of the puzzle, right? Automation.
Exactly. Automation.
So when I hear automation, I automatically jump to, job displacement, robots taking over, that whole scary thing. But how does automation play into, like, our everyday spending habits?
Well, the job displacement thing, that's a whole other conversation. But we're talking about more than just robots taking our jobs, right? This is about AI taking over those financial decisions that, honestly, we used to make for ourselves.
Okay, so like what? Give me an example.
One word. Investing. AI-driven investing is huge right now. These algorithms are out there making trading decisions, but based on massive data sets, complex calculations, stuff most of us wouldn't even know where to begin with.
So instead of doing my own research, picking stocks based on, I don't know, my own goals and my risk tolerance, I'm just supposed to trust an algorithm to do it for me.
That's what it's coming to for a lot of people. And it sounds like convenient on the surface, or maybe even safer, like you've got this expert AI on your side. But here's the thing. It can actually make the market more, how do I put this, volatile.
Volatile, meaning?
Meaning, think about it. If everyone's relying on these AI-powered systems, and those systems are all spitting out the same advice, what happens? Everyone's buying or selling at the same time.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're going with this. And that's not good, right?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
It creates this herd mentality. And we've seen how that can go wrong in the past. Remember what happened with GameStop?
Yeah, not a pretty picture. It's like we're giving up control of our own financial destinies and handing the reins over to these algorithms, and we're not even sure they know how to drive.
That's a great way to put it. We assume that since AI is based on data and logic, it must be objective, right? Like totally unbiased. But the reality is AI is only as good as the data it's trained on. And who creates and feeds that data?
Humans, with all our flaws and biases.
Bingo. So those biases, you can creep into the algorithms, and suddenly AI isn't so impartial after all.
This is a lot to process. So we've got AI potentially deciding who gets access to money, playing mind games with prices, making it ridiculously easy to spend without thinking, even making investment decisions for us. Like, AI is everywhere when it comes to our money.
Exactly. And that's where this pain of payment idea comes in. The AI impact model, it suggests that all these things we've been talking about, they all tie into how we feel about spending money.
Okay, pain of payment. Hit me with it. What is that?
So pain of payment, or POP, as the researchers call it, is that like psychological twinge we feel when we spend money. It's that little voice in your head that's like, do I really need this? Can I actually afford this?
Oh, that voice. Believe me, I know that voice.
Right. And how loud that voice is, that pain, if you will, it plays a huge role in whether or not we actually hand over our credit card.
For sure. Sometimes it's just a whisper, but other times it's practically screaming at me to put my wallet away.
Exactly. And the point is, a lot of these AI-driven features we've been talking about, they're specifically designed to, well, quiet that voice down, to minimize the pain of payment.
So it's like AI is making it easier to spend money without thinking, without feeling that pang of guilt or regret that might normally make us reconsider.
Precisely.
Hold on. So you're saying when I see that little pop-up, the one that's like special offer just for you, that's not just a coincidence. AI is actively trying to figure out how to get me to spend more.
It's not that it's like intentionally trying to trick you or anything. It's more like using data to predict what's going to be the most persuasive, specifically to you. AI can analyze everything, your past purchases, what you've been looking at online, even your social media, to figure out what makes you tick. Then it uses all that info to, well, present those tempting offers, those discounts that feel like they were made just for you. It's all about overcoming any hesitation you might have.
Wow, AI is basically playing chess with our subconscious, and we're not even invited to the match. Makes you wonder, what else is AI quietly influencing when it comes to our finances?
That's the question the AI impact model really pushes us to consider. It brings up this idea of, are you ready for this? Subjective wealth.
Subjective wealth. Sounds kind of intimidating, like something you'd learn in an economics class. Please don't make me go back to school.
Relax. This isn't about complicated formulas or anything. Subjective wealth is basically just how we perceive our financial situation. And the thing is, it doesn't always match up with, actual reality.
So like feeling rich even when you're not. Oh, I've been there,
Yeah.
especially after a good online shopping spree.
Exactly. And what the research suggests is that all these AI-powered tools, with their easy credit offers and personalized everything, they might actually be inflating our sense of subjective wealth. Think about it. We see all these targeted offers. Maybe we get approved for a credit limit that's higher than we expected, and suddenly we feel a little richer, a little more financially secure, even if nothing has actually changed.
It's like that feeling when you get a raise, right? Even if your expenses go up, there's that initial, woohoo, I can splurge a little.
Yeah.
But if that feeling is based on, I don't know, easy access to credit instead of an actual increase in income, that's where things can go south pretty quickly, right?
Precisely. If you feel wealthier than you actually are, you might take bigger financial risks, maybe invest more aggressively, make a big purchase you wouldn't have considered before, even delay saving because you think you've got more cushion than you really do.
It's like that saying, don't build your house on sand. It might look sturdy at first, but it's not going to hold up in a storm. And speaking of shaky financial ground, we were talking about this earlier. Mental accounting. How does that fit into all of this?
Mental accounting, right. That's how we organize our money in our heads. Those little mental categories we make for different types of spending, like rent, groceries, going out, that emergency fund we're supposed to be building.
Yeah.
These mental buckets, they help us stay organized, make sure we're not blowing our budget on, shoes and takeout every month.
Oh, mental accounting is my jam. I've got my travel fund, my new couch fund, even a just in case I win the lottery fund.
Yeah.
Hey, a girl can dream. But I can see how AI might make those mental categories a little blurry, a little harder to track.
That's the thing. With AI bringing in new currencies, complex financial products, and those immersive spending environments like the metaverse, it gets tricky. It's like trying to balance a checkbook when you're being bombarded with digital confetti and virtual reality shopping sprees.
Okay, that's an image I won't soon forget. And it's true, it's overwhelming. It used to be you'd check your bank balance, maybe glance at your credit card statement, and you had a pretty good idea of where you stood, right? Now, with cryptocurrency doing its thing and who knows what else is coming next, it's a whole different ballgame.
It really is. And that feeling of being overwhelmed, of not having a handle on your finances, well, that can lead to some not so great decisions, overspending, financial anxiety, the whole shebang.
It's ironic, isn't it? AI is supposed to simplify our lives, make things easier, but when it comes to our finances, it seems like it's adding a whole new level of complexity. So what's the takeaway here? How do we navigate this new financial world where AI seems to be calling the shots?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The AI impact model, it doesn't really give us a step-by-step guide or anything, but it does encourage us to be aware of those subtle ways AI might be influencing our behavior. It's not about rejecting technology or becoming, paranoid about every algorithm out there. It's about being informed, asking the right questions, and most importantly, remembering that we're still in control of our choices, especially when it comes to our money.
So don't blindly trust the algorithm just because it seems official. Don't assume that something's in our best interest just because it's convenient or personalized.
Exactly. Do your research, set those financial goals, and don't be afraid to question those offers that seem a little too good to be true.
And remember, AI is always watching, always learning from what we do. If we keep clicking on those personalized ads, jumping on every limited time offer, what are we teaching it?
We're basically telling it, hey, keep doing that, it's working. But if we start making more conscious choices, more deliberate choices, well, maybe we can steer the algorithm in a direction that's actually beneficial, both for us and for everyone else.
Now that is an empowering thought. It's not just about protecting ourselves from the potential downsides of AI. It's about actively shaping how this technology evolves in a way that, well, makes our lives better, not just more complicated and anxiety-inducing. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of AI and personal finance. It's a topic that's only going to get more important and more complex in the years to come. Until next time, be sure to keep those critical thinking caps on. And remember, when it comes to AI and your wallet, knowledge is power.